Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm here to talk about my next team for my NFL previews. I just uploaded wrestling news, so go watch that. Free promotion out of the way. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. We've done the Ravens and the Bengals. Now, in the AFC North, we're here getting to the Cleveland Browns. So, my season summary based from last year, kind of a short season summary. Deshaun Watson, this is just me, just going off the top of my head. Deshaun Watson really struggled last year, and that trade's been looking like kind of a bust so far. Deshaun Watson just hasn't looked like that same player that he was in the Houston Texans. And then he went out with that season-ending injury. They had Joe Flacco for the rest of the season. And surprisingly, Joe Flacco was amazing. Then the playoffs, their defense had been really there. Pretty much the whole season fell apart. The offense wasn't there. Too many turnovers in that game from Joe Flacco. And ultimately, the Browns, they went through a myriad of quarterbacks, or how you say that word, of quarterbacks last year in the wake of Deshaun Watson's injury. Before settling on Joe Flacco, they went through a bunch of different quarterbacks, but they eventually settled on Joe Flacco because he was the best out of the few they used. So that's kind of my season summary for the Cleveland Browns. And then they got that upset loss to the Houston Texans. And here's some veteran additions they got this offseason that I wrote down. Jameis Winston, Tyler Huntley. So I assume those are going to be the second and third string quarterbacks since no Flacco and Deshaun Watson will be coming back. Running back named Hines, good depth. Running back Donta Foreman. So they had those two running backs, which will be some depth pieces they'll use. And whenever Nick Chubb gets back, they got Jerry Jeudy. I mean, he's just too lazy. Offensive tackle Hakeem Adeniji. Who? Linebacker Jordan Hicks. Defensive tackle Quentin Jefferson. Linebacker Devin Bush, and cornerback Tony Brown. Don't really see many big additions here that'll help this team. Maybe besides the running backs. Some of their draft picks that are notable was a defensive tackle Michael Hall. They need to beef up, get some more talent in that defensive line with Myles Garrett. And then guard Zach Mitchell. Remember when he broke his leg at Michigan this past season? Yeah, that's who they drafted him. He's good when he's good. I like that addition on the O-line. Their off-season losses, one of them includes QB Joe Flacco. They let him go. Running back Kareem Hunt, the kicker. Tight end Harrison Bryant. Center Nick Harris. Defensive tackle Shelby Harrison. Defensive tackle Jordan Elliott. Linebacker Anthony Walker. Linebacker Sion Taki. And safety Jerron Harmon. I mean, I wouldn't consider any of these really big off-season losses. The only big ones like Joe Flacco. So they really didn't let many big players go. So they added some players, but I don't know if any of them really make an impact. But the off-season losses don't really hurt them either. For their offense this year, I think Watson will continue to struggle even when he returns. I just don't see any signs that tells me, oh, Deshaun Watson's gonna be back to form. I mean, Jerry Jeudy's not gonna help. Jerry Jeudy won't help the wide receiving core. He's just too lazy, and he was hyped up as this big receiver, and he just hasn't been that player you expected out of Alabama. They will definitely miss Nick Chubb for a few weeks until he returns because you let go Kareem Hunt, you bring in Naeem Hines and Donta Foreman. Donta Foreman had a solid year last year for the Bears, but I just don't see these two running backs helping this team until Nick Chubb returns. Maybe, what's his name? Something Ford? Jerome Ford might be their starter, I think. But I just don't see that helping their backfield, him being the full-time starter. For the defense, they will be a top 5 defense again. I thought they were one of the best defenses last year until that wild card playoff game where they collapsed. The secondary will be locked down because they still have Denzel Ward, some other guys back there that are really talented. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I think is his name. I think he'll have his best season. I think he was by far their best linebacker last year, and I think he'll continue to continue to develop and have his best season. See, I think they'll be a top 5 defense again. For my record prediction, though, I'll say 9-8. And I'm not saying this because of their defense. I think their defense will be good, but I think the offense is what will hurt them. I think their defense will be really good, but I think the offense will cost them a lot of games. So I'll have them going 9-8. Yeah, that's my Cleveland Browns season preview. So that's all I got. Till next time, I'll Peace.